The first video of the 8th week is on positioning as a teaching pedagogy. At the end of this video, you will be able to define positioning, comprehend the process of positioning, and infer the role of educator in positioning. Positioning is defined as the careful, logical placement of learning materials in relation to objects or concepts and in relation to people. Now, let us look into the process of positioning in two aspects, that's before positioning and while positioning. The facilitator or educator should have a close observation of the whole physical environment where the child is to spend his time. The educator should also decide how to place materials and equipments that would assist the child's learning at its best. The following are the aspects that have to be decided by the educator before adopting positioning as a teaching strategy. The inside and the outside play space that is going to be made available for the children. The list of equipment or materials to be positioned in the decided space. The boundaries for each of the area or corners and its distance from the center. The grouping of materials with a certain logic that facilitates learning. A balance between the closed and the open spaces or materials. The positioning of materials to encourage movement and interaction. And the materials, at least a few, to allow quiet handling with reflection. And now what should be done while positioning? The ultimate responsibility of an educator is to create and maintain a safe, secure, interesting and pleasurable environment for children to learn. To attain this prime objective, an educator should focus on 6 key aspects as given to you. First is to meet the child's health and the safety needs. Second is to foster the aesthetic appreciation. Third is to stimulate curiosity and interest. Fourth is to make the child feel secure and competent. Fifth, to support equity of access and participation by all children. And the sixth, but not the least, is to stimulate brain development. This section would deal with the role of educators while using the pedagogy of positioning under each of the above mentioned aspects along with strategies to improve the pedagogical practice, equipments or materials in appropriate places, and ensure the child's health as well as safety needs. For example, allot a staff to carry out the safety check every day before the arrival of children. Ensure that an adult is always near to a climbing equipment or any equipment that needs adult supervision for safety. Now let us see how to improve on this objective. Sketch the layout of the outside and the indoor space of learning. Place equipment in such a way that an adult can supervise to her maximum. Have a safety check with the checklist that is being provided to you. Now, checklist to check whether certain statements are appropriately kept. Play spaces well lit, well ventilated, comfortable temperature, space for free movement, etc. And the second objective is to foster the aesthetic appreciation. Position equipment or materials in such a way that the child's aesthetic appeal gets enhanced and they enjoy the placing to the fullest without being bored. And how to improve it. The checklist that is going to be shown to you would enable you to check the extent to which the placement of equipment or materials enhance the aesthetic appeal of the learning space. Some of the statements in the checklist would be whether the equipment or materials are deliberately placed, carefully placed, properly maintained. The space has got certain soft areas for child to relax, rest and even reflect, and whether the materials depict the culturally familiar objects, etc. And the third objective, to stimulate curiosity and interest. To promote curiosity and interest in a child, the materials that ought to be positioned should be flexible, open-ended. Here the open-ended means, for example, if it is a building block wherein a child can create a number of buildings become an open-ended material. And the third is that it should be easily movable. Place 1 or 2 materials out of place. For example, place a book in the block corner so that the child might use the book with the blocks to create a new building. Place some unfamiliar material so that the child starts to explore it and questions to know more about it. And moreover, place things in surprising places. And the fourth objective, to make the child feel secure and competent. The child should feel secure, confident and competent in using the play spaces to enhance their learning potential. How to improve this objective? Allot a personal storage space for all children to keep their belongings. Keep the most commonly used materials such as glue, scissors, pencils, crayons in its home places, labeled with symbols for easy identification and access. Ensure that the regular materials are kept in the same place. Provide lightweight furniture so that the child can move it from one place to another without help. Confirm easy access to safe cleaning materials when needed. Provide materials to share with others, but not many, as the child would lose interest and the sense of belongingness if they go on with complete sharing. And on to the fifth objective, to support equity of access and participation by all children. The educator should provide a range of experiences to ensure equal practices and participation by every child in the center. How to improve on it? Provide few materials reflecting the cultural backgrounds of every child. Ensure access to materials by all children differing in their abilities, potentials based on their interests and needs. Check if the positioning is comfortable for a child with special needs. For example, a child with physical disability should have enough space to move within the positioned environment. Position activities that encourage the child to play, explore and learn. Place materials to stimulate curiosity and allow the discovery of new things. Foster questioning to further their knowledge. What should be the general role of an educator? The first one is provide access to drink, plenty of water, as dehydration makes the child inactive. Introduce aromas to the learning space as it can stimulate a child's learning. Experiences and researchers suggest that floral odors increase the ability to learn, create or think. Lemon and peppermint odors can make the mind alert. Lavender and orange aromas helps the child to relax and calm down. So, to conclude, the positioning of materials and resources at an appropriate place itself becomes a teaching pedagogy for young children. Hope to meet you in the next video explaining the pedagogy empowering. Thank you.